Has the scope of the project changed? Because initially this contract was worth 2.5. It now looks like it's worth about 2.27, which is more in line with the Treasury projections for this project.
That's correct. There are three things that really help to bring the budget within what was approved by Treasury. The first one is that the exchange rate is in our favor. When the contract was signed, the rand to the euro was 14 rand to the euro. So that helped. The second part is that you're absolutely correct that the scope has been modified to remove all what I may call bells and whistles to make sure that it is what is required by the department. And lastly, government is going to use some of the investment that they made in SARS and Home Affairs, and that's what has helped us to bring all this in line with the Treasury approved budget.
Was this the main bone of contention between yourselves and the Department of Home Affairs, the pricing of the contract?
Well, when we got the letter back in 2010, all it said is that the contract is invalid and unenforceable, and it quoted a section of PFMA which deals with the authority of the accounting officer to contract. So I didn't go into details on that one. So it is very difficult to speculate that what was the thing. But yes, at one stage, escalations in the cost of the project were the issues, and as part of the settlement, we resolved that.
I know the project team initially back April tried to go back to work on that project, but they were locked out by the Department of Home Affairs for a period. Has everything ground to a halt? Has there been any work on the project since April last year?
In April, we had a work order. We were given work to do until the middle of June. So all we did was to deliver up to the middle of June, which was part of the contract. And since then, there was nothing done. We were involved in this long discussions to find a resolution. And in this one, I must say that the minister played a good role in making sure that we all focus on what's important, service delivery to the citizens. And for that, I have to thank her, because it did help us to focus on resolving this issue.
How have you been recognizing revenue from this project in the meantime, and how much revenue have you actually taken in? How much is still outstanding? Okay,
I have to be very careful because we are in a closed period, so I won't discuss most of the details. But if you remember, last year, about 300 odd million rand of our revenue, that is for full year, came out of Who Am I Online. So part of the settlement is to write off part of those, the revenue that we got from them. I will disclose on Wednesday how much that one is, but safe to say that we will declare loss between 27.5 cents a share and 28.5 cents a share, headline earnings per share, that is.
Looking at today's statement, it says the agreement is subject to the fulfillment of suspensive conditions. What are some of these conditions?
Well, there are not lots of, but the main one is that Treasury must then approve this. That's important because Treasury will then have to look at all the details of this and approve it. Obviously, that is within the ambit of government, but we are hopeful that the process leading to this is such that we are comfortable that it may be approved. I mean, I can't foretell, but I think the teams work well together to make sure that is in line with what Treasury will require ultimately.
Your relation with the Department of Home Affairs, your relationship with government at this stage, because obviously there are other lucrative contracts coming from government that companies like Gijima would like to get hold of. Is this relationship repaired?
Is it repaired? Is that a question?
Yes.
Well, during this process, we had to go and assure our customers, both private and public sector, that we are a company to deal with, that company they can trust. No question that this was something hanging over, questioning our credibility or even maybe our image as a company. So what we did so far, I'm comfortable that yes, we were poles apart at the beginning, but where we are now, it's we have found each other, and we're going to work together to make sure that we deliver this in the interest of the country and the government and our shareholders.
Quickly tell us about the project. What does it practically do for the Department of Home Affairs? How does it affect people who have to use the Department of Home Affairs?
Right. The system itself is to modernize the back-end systems of government. So if I can put it blindly, it modernizes the way people apply for IDs, for passports, marriage certificates, etc. on one side, which is what's called civic services. On the other side, it also modernizes the immigration services. The way you go and apply for visas with other countries, it will be in line with that international best practice. But for the citizens, I think the most important thing is that the documents that we have will now be authentic. They will be we can be rest assured that they are the right right documents, but also the process from the time they apply to the time that they get them, that will be shortened. So that's the benefit that the citizens will get ultimately.
So it's something we as citizens really want to be implemented at the Department of Home Affairs.
Absolutely, and that's why the Minister has always been on this, that what she focuses on is nothing else but service delivery, and this is one of those that will help to ensure that the department gets that.
How about the team that was rolling out the implementation of this project? If they haven't been working since June last year, have you had to retrench some of these people? Are they still on the ground at Gijima? Can they get going with this project quickly once you have the final go-ahead from Treasury?
Sadly, we had to lose some of the employees, and what we tried to do, what we did as a company, is to do everything in our power to make sure that those who are affected are treated with dignity. Employees for a services company like Gijima are most important. So what we did is we allowed contracts to expire. We redeploy some of them into the rest of the business, and those that we could not, then we let them go. It is sad to lose employees, but I'm glad that we did not throw away our values as a company. We continue to treat our employees with respect.
And Jonas, how quickly can you get up and running with this project once you do get the go-ahead?
Once we go ahead, we will need about a month or so of planning. However, the initial indication is that they will then take 18 months or so to complete the project. I am comfortable that the people that we put on board, the people that the department will put on board, and the governance framework that we have agreed upon will enable us to deliver this.